First of all, I'm beyond hyped to see this dude properly in a battle, being the big daddy of his clan and all. Secondly, that's some cool flexible magicka right there, and some nice animation to boot. Rotating shot like it's no big deal whatsoever. Also guys and gals, just your reminder that if you wish to, you can now join up to my Patreon from $4 per month and vote in anime you'd like to see on Anime Wins. All the details are on there and the link is in the description, so check it out if you fancy it. Are you kidding me right now? They're really setting the stage right here with this animation saying, "Hey boys, we ain't messing around, you hear?"
調べによると例の空間魔導士が1日に1度定期的にこのアジトを出るタイミングがある。
As much as I dislike this guy because of Noel, I like this guy because of his voice actor, these different angles adding to his cool factor, and the plan they've put in place sounding thorough and, you guessed it, cool!
水創生魔法海流の水割り
Seeing Noel like this is the height of awesome. No one wish it began all that time ago. Also, I'm legit additionally hyped getting to see these other royal knights taking part in the fight. Even more so because many were given a backstory during the last arc, and mean much more to us having now been introduced. Really, that last arc was a brilliant move when you're following it up with this one in terms of characters meaning much more than they normally would have otherwise without those introduction episodes.
グレンの獅子王団団員として
雷魔法雷霆の石器
My word, I feel like they could have opted to be super lazy and do some zoomed in talking shots with a moving background to signify flying, but instead decided to do a fairly heavy amount of animation with CGI attacks like a bunch of legends would.
Oh, 美しいじゃないか。
I'm still so glad she's in this anime!
どちらが本物かわかるか？
いや全然。
役立たずか貴様。
Firstly, I love the way she just picks people up by their heads. That's so funny, but also how he doesn't do anything about it. Just hangs there with his legs slightly swinging. Oh, it's this guy, and he has some legit copy magic, just like Crollo from Hunter x Hunter.
じゃあ行くよ。この魔法はそう簡単にはかわせない。
Yet another genuinely unique piece of magic to Salado!
闇まとい無妙斬り。
That was so good! It physically hurt me a little. Hold on. Okay, that was awesome, but what made it even better was these just jumping out of the way knowing they couldn't take it head on, but her taking it head on knowing full well her own abilities. That was sick!
へえ、でも
この魔法カリディス・ブラッキウム
As you may have already guessed, that, gets 2 friggin' wins! Get out of here! Someone call the fire brigade! He might soon be waking up finally after so many episodes! Take my win!
近接戦闘なら俺の戦いの参考になるかもよっしゃー
Asta always taking the opportunity to learn something like right here. Also 50% of the win is because I'm actually loving the team dynamics. Like, just having these three together fills me with a strange level of unexplainable joy.
この速さにはついてこれねえだろう。
This right now, this early on, is giving me serious All Might versus All for One vibes, in terms of their strength, but also the amazing angles they're giving us for the battle thus far. All I'm saying is, if it keeps going, it'll be getting wins galore, and the anime as a whole might yet again level up in my mind, as it's clear the animators are taking this arc so seriously right now with this quality animation and music. 魔法魔法アクアチアベリン How can I not praise the heck out of that animation when they're moving the characters so smoothly through the air? Just quickly letting you all know, so far that's my favourite magic I've seen. Just above a joint Yami and the Wizard King. I love it. It looks great and it's so powerful and versatile.
怪獣だな。魔法条件は相手のグリモワールに触れること。さっきの変身時にしれっと触らせてもらっといたよ。
I actually went back to check and he did indeed touch his book and they added a sound effect as he touched it. Just a light tap. That's such good foreshadowing.
人間、お前らは一人残らず殺す。
Adding yet more intrigue to the mystery at large. His creepy face that he adopted when getting serious, just like Veto did before, and the animation on her great subsequent punch that reminded me of a baseball bat swing from Magna.
7ゾーンカリディスブラキウム連撃。
Such an insanely awesome attack with an art style change! This brief explanation of what may ultimately become the next big thing in Black Clover magic, reaching beyond the only recently introduced mana skin.
悪いがお前ら程度じゃ俺は止められね
今思えば魔法の中に魔法を発生させたのもスピリットダイブもマナゾーンを使えればこそ。
Ah, I see. Very nice way of letting us know that Yuno already held this new ability back during the tournament arc, and it's not some ex machina that randomly appears out of the blue now.
やっと出てきやがった。
That's such a cool ability, and a nice way of demonstrating it too.
うるせえ。ついでにてめえも殺す。魔力返せこら。無理。返せっつってんだろ。無理。
Okay, so I have to point out the change at the end of this OP, and let's be real here, this song now slaps even harder than it originally did when mixed with what very much looks like the Golden Dawn's leader attacking the Wizard King as Yami yells maybe a warning, and to say it's got me incredibly hyped would be underselling it by a massive degree.
お茶のおかわりは。
おう。ってどんだけ飲ませんだこれ。何回も用足しに言ってんだよ。全然リフレッシュできねえぞこれ。
I can't show him cussing, but my god, I love how freely he talks about the toilet and stuff.
そもそも選抜試験の対戦中とはいえ、てめえらんとこの副団長が。
Fantastic way of doing exposition, feeding it through a logical line of conversation and not randomly dropping it out of nowhere like some anime would do. I think one of the things I love about the Wizard King is that he isn't interested in fairly mundane or pointless paperwork and instead is more interested in keeping his people safe by using his strength and building his captains and their strength up too. He's an insanely likeable character to me, especially when you factor in his words during this scene where it seems as though he was scouting everyone out in person to ensure they could handle the difficult task that they're now performing.
どうしたんだい、ウィリアム。
This was in the OP! This is not a drill! Sound the alarm and get me some frickin' water right now!
この仮面をいただいた時、魔法騎士に誘っていただいた時に、私はユリウス様に我がグリモワールを捧げることを決めました。最強の弾を作ることが魔法帝になったユリウス様への恩返しだと。
But then, like, all of his words are so lovely, and he doesn't look much like Licht at all without his helmet. But I have seen the OP and stuff, and I'm confused, and it was nice. What's going on?
だから、二人に選んでもらうしかない。傷が。
Okay, it's gonna happen soon. Sound the alarm again, and where's that water?
白夜の魔眼、当主。 リヒトだ。
そうであっては欲しくなかったね。
Yup, you got me. Even with the OP, I don't even care. It's a great twist. Say what you want. Take those 2 well-deserved wins, and now let's do this with extreme levels of prejudice. You really have to appreciate the long game in this anime, you know? Like, the stuff he's talking about was way back in part 2. That's crazy, and things have developed so much across the board since then.
君が応援している私が勝つよ。
いや、彼の心は私と共にある。魔法帝、あなたには死んでもらう。
I'm genuinely so nervous right now. I think the only time I felt this on edge was a late fight with Netero, no spoilers in Hunter x Hunter, and also the previously mentioned All Might vs All for One.
光創生魔法、断罪の貢献。
マナゾーン、クロノスタシス、グリゴラ。
The start to this battle is Yami no doubt senses the same magic he's fought before, and as we're once again shown a mana zone, this time by my boy the Wizard King.
時に対抗できるのは光しかない。光創生魔法、裁きの光弁。
Angles, angles, angles! One of the greatest aspects of a huge Black Clover fight is the unique angles that the animators choose to use when pouring their metaphorical genius into a higher than usual quality of animation. On top of the angles and animation quality though, has to be the CGI. Lighting affects Lick's face by lighting it up, and these sound effects to boot. This right here, boys and girls squad, is the one type of battle I thought I'd never get, and already during part 7 I've been gifted it twice. Once in episode 91, and now again in 92. No, 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 no. I don't like it one bit. Ah, man, this episode is legit!
奪った時はストックされていて、いつでも使うことができる。負担は大きいけどね。
Yes, 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 yes. I like this lots of bits. Ah, man, this episode is legit!
人間相手に差別のない未来など叶わぬ夢だ。取った。先読みがさらに早く。
君では私に勝てないよ。
For that glorious attack filled to the brim with animation goodness, angles, and of course a certain extra something letting you know that you're witnessing greatness, they can go right on ahead and take a very rare double win. How can I not drop a win when they pull out the funnies after such a tense ending to an episode? Beautifully hand-drawn scene of the city from above.
この魔力はユリウス様、何者かと交戦中だ。力を持つ光魔法の使い手、まさか白夜の魔眼の当主。
Oh my god, this battle is so freaking hyped so far! As if this arc wasn't already off to such a great start, now they're dragging into the fray all of the other Knight Captains and their people, and honestly, it's got me more pumped than any other previous arc thus far, and I don't believe for a second it'll let me down ultimately either.
何を情けない顔をしている。それでも誇り高きグレンの獅子王の団員か。どんな時でも冷静に。姉上が留守である以上、我らは指示通りここで白夜の魔眼の襲撃に備える。
そうだ、浮き足立ってる場合か。
I adore how they do so much character development as we see this young lad stepping into his older sibling's shoes while one is still incapacitated and the other is out fighting the enemy as we speak, and so he takes charge and rolls them up as is his duty.
これなら先読みせずとも攻撃を避けること自体は難しくなさそう。
Licht using a massive sword of light and a dude or dudess who does the block type of damage animation returning to the scene yet again to do some block type of damage animation plus some seeping in smoke. just beautiful, and it's got that kind of shaky camera type of feel to it that makes it feel more intense and in your face, like you're in the action yourself. This is quickly becoming my favourite battle thus far, just slightly behind Yami vs Licht right now. Also though, shout out to the Wizard King's magic being so awesome and as expected, very versatile, as he's able to capture in time Licht's own attacks, or the leftover damage of those attacks, and then throw them back at him when required. That's so clever. It's so annoying how quick he is, and right now he seems to be on the back foot, but I have a terrible feeling that something bad is going to happen, but my word, it's a pleasure and privilege getting to witness the Wizard King in action.
私のグリモワールが気になっているのかい？私のグリモワールならあそこだよ。
Okay, what is that? Are you kidding me right now? I thought they'd all look the same except for the leaf on the front, and then there's this!
一体何者なのか、何をなすべきなのか、そのことをずっと問い続けてきた。問い続け、実績を積んできた。
Some of you mad lads have reached out to find me some of the songs I've asked for, but this is one I'm still waiting on, really eager to find it, so if you know it, comment down below. Heck, comment down below regardless, because as you know, it helps out stupidly well when it comes to boosting the video, but yeah, that song is awesome, and I love seeing a younger Wizard King too.
ならば守ってみせろ。封印魔法解除。
First of all, emergency plot twist! Take this grenade and throw it into the bunker! Secondly, emergency art style change!
これは一体神々しい。
Such a beautiful touch to remind us of the human element behind a potential fallout should his plan succeed. The people that we've come to know from previous parts, even all the way out to Hage Village. Possibly the greatest way of building genuine anxiety in me as a viewer, because I can't think of a single anime that has ever managed this other than Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. She is so kind. You can see how scared she is, but then regains her composure to make the children feel at ease, as she believes in the power of Asta and Yuno to help them, even though they aren't even involved in that.
なんつう規模の光魔法だ。そったれ。どうなってんだ、ユリウスの旦那。
And now we've got Yami making his way over there, and I can't wait to see what happens next.
私は自分の使命を探し、魔法騎士団で戦い続けていた。
Are you kidding me with those awesome looking visuals from a prior battle he fought in?
全力で来い。言っとくが、俺の魔力はお前の100倍強えぞ。贅肉野郎。
Finding a legit way of bringing Zara back into the story so I could see what their first interactions were actually like.
他の魔法騎士は手柄に目がくらんでいる中、彼は何よりも国民を助けることを最優先に行動していた。魔法騎士の何たるかを分かっていなかった当時の私でも、彼こそが本当の魔法騎士だと思った。
It's so cool that it was Zara who seemingly initially helped to ultimately guide the Wizard King's direction when he finally came to power, in terms of his sense of justice, his views on the royals, and what exactly the role of the Magic Knight should be. This entire segment has got me on the very edge of being emotional. I think it's the soulful music in the background, full of grandiose as he changes his country. This guy whom I've come to adore, not only because of his voice actor's prior excellent performances, including this one, not only because of his power, but because of him being a true stand for justice and equality in this twisted world of magic. Take a second separate win here too for Black Clover never bringing up a subject only to then forget about it, in spite of how long ago it was. They brought up the inequality issue pretty much back in episode 1, and now 93 episodes later, it's still being addressed in a super meaningful way.
時間反転魔法クロノアナスタシス。
Oh. スタシス。
スタシス。
Oh. スタシス。 Oh. スタシス。 Oh. スタシス。 Oh. スタシス。 Oh. スタシス。 Oh. スタシス。 Oh. スタシス。 Oh. スタシス。 Oh. スタシス。 Oh. スタシス。 Oh. スタシス。 Oh. スタシス。 Oh. スタシス。 Oh. スタシス。 Oh. スタシス。 Oh. スタシス。 Oh. スタシス。 Oh. スタシス。 Oh. スタシス。 Oh. スタシス。 Oh. スタシス。 Oh. スタシス。 Oh. スタシス。 Oh. スタシス。 Oh. スタシス。 Oh. スタシス。 Oh. スタシス。 Oh. スタシス。 Oh. スタシス。 Oh. スタシス。 Oh. スタシス。 Oh. スタシス。 Oh. スタシス。 Oh. スタシス。 Oh. スタシス。 Oh. スタシス。 Oh. スタシス。 Oh. スタシス。 Oh. スタシス Also, those two still being in the anime. Truly gorgeous looking visuals right there. Nothing else to say. That is beyond awful. Man. Allowing the attack through in order to prevent everyone else from being attacked. He made the ultimate sacrifice for his people. Take two for that. Ultimate ending to the episode right there, mixing my genuine sorrow with deep-seated excitement over a Yami throwing off his carefree attitude in pure fury at the scene he's just witnessed as he readies himself to attack. Brilliant touch having William force out this tear, as inside his emotions must be raging having witnessed that. See what I mean when I say that Yami has, for me, some of the greatest looking attacks? Like, that was utterly, just beyond badass in all honesty. Just a shame that he got away. Asta is such a legend, and I'm eagerly awaiting his time in the sun, since the past 3 episodes have been all about the others kicking ass and taking names as he leaps in to stop his predicted self-destruction. Not only did that attack look great, like that clearly had some extra frames in it, but then they also give us another look at Asta's brilliant personality where he doesn't want people wasting their lives like this. Stupid Asta and his stupid words get me stupidly worked up. Such a legend. It's that music, I'm telling you, man. Mix that music with some great writing and straight away, I'm proper emotional over here. Just like when Asta pushed himself against the girl with the salamander. Witnessing more of Yami and their initial time together is making this hurt all the more, and they know exactly what they're doing, going after my heartstrings, as did the mangaka originally. That's as equally beautiful as it is incredibly sad. Yami fighting back tears or pointless statements of denial, instead realising his end had come and now was the time to make a statement affirming his commitment to do right by his friend. God, I'm so genuinely sad right now. Yep. Take a final win here for this great man.
そんな我らをリヒト様は白夜の魔眼の仲間として迎え入れてくださった。私はリヒト様にお仕えし、少しでもお役に立てれば本望だ。
Again, Black Clover does this sort of stuff insanely well. They're not just bad guys for the sake of bad guying, with some natural exceptions of course, mainly right now her and the zombie dude. Instead, this was all born out of wanting equality to be achieved via revenge for what happened in the past. The irony here is that their equality would have been achieved in the end anyway, via the one person Licht chose to take out.
お前たちとはここでお別れだ。復活の礎となれ。
Again, Black Clover is nothing if not great at pulling the rug out from under our collective feet. I would have bet a lot of money that the story would have played out as I imagined it, with them becoming super powerful, as he has said all along, and at the last moment, he's seemingly sacrificing his own people to achieve the power he's spoken about all along. Plot twist!
始まったみたいだな。
始まった。
こいつ急に魔力が。おい、なんかやべえぞ。
Ah, you're messing about right now? Yuno is one as well? Ah, roll on episode 95 quickly! Even if the music isn't my favourite, it's still up there, but what makes this OP great in my opinion is the clearly even bigger push in terms of its visuals. Like that easily now rivals some of the greats out there like My Hero Academia and the like, whose OPs have always slapped. Blown away by that animation and cannot wait to see if some of that continues to bleed over into the coming episodes. Crazy to think that such similar rituals used to take place among the elves who clearly wielded the largest concentration of magic power back then before the betrayal. That's some tasty lore right there. Bruh, this young lad looks a lot like Luck. It's nuts, as we witness what I hope will bring about the answer to many of my longest questions in this anime. Mainly, who did the actual betraying, and how did they end up inside human bodies? Now let's go!
エルフと人間が仲良くなれないかってね。
なるほどね。
Being nice to animals is always a win. Using the first half of this episode to do a little bit of recap, but also mainly fill in some gaps on what led up to the event in question coming soon. Ah, Veto's saving that squirrel. Why you gotta do me like that?
僕は死んだんじゃ。この手、僕の手じゃ。リヒトさん。魔法が封じられていたあの状況で、リヒトさんが発動したあれは、おそらく禁術魔法。
Ah, so that's how it worked. Forbidden magic, used by Licht at the very last moment to bring them back. I can't say his plan is really all that of an evil one, and perhaps that's what makes this story arc one of the best of the anime, because it's not evil for the sake of evil. Like, there's definitely an element of that, but more importantly is how they're just really trying to bring back everyone that they lost at the expense of all of the humans who they see as being entirely at fault for the downfall of all elves. Like, it's still evil, but it makes a little sense. Also though, what a way to do away with these bad guys that I would never have seen coming a mile off, by having their own leader take them out. That's beyond perfect.
君を生きたまま解剖させてね。あ、もちろん麻酔はなしだよ。
She's still hot. I need help, seriously. It's so awesome how they're floating between different characters during this arc so that it never really has a slight chance of becoming stale no matter what is going on. I think for me another great thing worth pointing out about this arc is how it's the very first one thus far that feels like it's altering the course of the world, or like the entire anime via its events. It's not just something the Black Bulls are dealing with, instead it's everyone of importance all the way to the very top of the leadership ladder all the way down to a small village. This is, simply put, one of the greatest twists I've ever seen, but I want to hold off a little longer until I know exactly what the twist is actually going to end up being, but for now it most certainly seems to be the case that they're going to have their bodies taken over.
今の光は攻撃じゃねえな。この木はまさか。
In case you were wondering based on my comments during part 6, I now fully understand how this arc is going to span the length of 3 parts of my series. Wow, what an amazing twist, and for that outstanding plot twist, they get a big fat juicy win.
その上さらに射程距離とスピードが段違いに上がってやがる。
God, I love Yami so much! He's such an awesome character that, in spite of their incredible increase in magical power, that he's still able to tackle them fairly easily. Thus far, anyway.
海を乱れ！
なんだ
闇元に海を峰打ち！ちょっと寝ててもらおうか。
That was so cool! They really thought they'd easily wipe the floor with him, but one thing Licht has kind of failed to take into account is how certain humans have developed over time to become incredibly strong, and one such human is Yami Dono.
とっとと逃げやがれ！生き延びねえとぶっ殺すぞ！ Stuff like this is super interesting, as we come to find out the limitations Yami has been fighting under as soon as someone weaker enters the fray attempting to use their own magic. I always talk about an anime like this, building power structures amongst its characters, and now after 96 episodes of Black Clover, I can happily state that this anime really nails it.
私が死んでも
姉さんの目を覚まさせる。
ふざけんな。今の俺たちの使命は守ることと生き残ることだ。
姉さんを青の野原団長を。
I'm eating up all of this tasty character development, and I've still got room for much more!
逃げねえよ。闇魔法黒穴。部下が泣いてやがるぜ。シャーロット。
気を立ちの冷戦争。
闇バトル次元切り。
He's my new favourite powerful character. I love the way he fights, it's so freaking cool!
よし。防牛の団長やたらと大事そうだったけど。
Yeah, and I'm just over here hoping beyond all hope that Yami has something in mind for bringing him back, but to be honest, I think that's wishful thinking, and it's more about protecting his honour for a funeral at this point.
魔力量の優劣に関わらず戦況を覆す。そんな魔法の習得に至った者が人間の中にはいるのか。
It's really awesome to hear the enemy admit that when it comes to certain strong humans. I'm just beyond eager now to find out how Noelle and Asta will fare.
じゃあ防牛の団長は。
As is tradition in these videos, several instances of not running on the spot.
他にも騎士団がいいんだろうから一緒に救えるだけ救うんだ。
はい。
If this arc is a blessing for one thing so far, aside from everything else I've already mentioned, it has to be for them giving us lots of precious Yami screen time, which there hasn't been much of ever since the end of his battle against Licht.
現にあの時誰もあなたの味方をしなかっただろう。
それはお前もじゃないのか?
So random giving us scenes with these two suddenly, as I had wondered what had happened to him all of this time, and I'm digging what I think sounds like some new tunes to the anime in the background as well.
気に食わねえがそうだな、ケルトル。
透過魔法不可視の探索。
鎖創生魔法。
I swear in no other anime that I can think of would they take the opportunity to give these two from ages ago the chance to also get in on the fighting against these new foes. This is incredible.
もう一発。
桜魔法。魔王のモンハラ吹雪。美しく臨戦態勢を取れ、ノエル。
This guy actually being a bit of a senpai and launching into action to protect her and organise a plan of defence, even while visibly shaking. Character development! I'm so glad that she wasn't immediately overwhelmed as I thought might be the case by his new powers. It just nicely links to my earlier statement about developing power levels, because this helps us understand the level that she is on and how close it is to Yami, for example. I love seeing them all fighting at the same time! Actually, great CGI. Okay, so firstly, take a win for that attack of Asta's. I've been waiting a fairly long time now to see him in action again, and it did not disappoint at all.
けど当たった。これで魔法が解け。痛いな。何するんだよ。
And take a second one here for the realization that Asta's anti-magic sword isn't working, and the revelations that that notion brings with it.
貴様、何か勘違いしてないか。足止め。笑わせるな。私は貴様ら全員を殺すつもりだぞ。
I'm just putting this out there. I'm gonna fly off the damn handle if something also ends up happening to her. Damn!
我々では止められない。
折れるな。誇り高き最強の弾、グレンの獅子王。絶対に負けてはならない。誇り高きグレンの獅子王の炎をかき消すことはできん。
レオの言う通りだ。
Just like I mentioned before, he's a true credit to his family's burning spirit and worthy of a win.
逃がすか。
Loads of new types of Magicadors, and everyone tries to fight their hardest for Leo and his family.
大気魔法爆裂空破傷。
They're just pouring in extra animation frames like it's no big deal, and they must be praised for all of this goodness.
目に頼るな。感じろ。
かわしたぞ。お前はいつかこの段を滑る者になる。我々が時間を稼ぐ。
In the past, for me, it was the case that a lot of these guys didn't amount to anything more than filler in terms of filling up some space on screen or in a scene or whatever, but here they're given true substance as they fight for Leo, and it fills me with pride for them.
我らは誇り高きグレンの獅子王。
体が。
レオ。
諦めてたまるか。俺は使ったんだ。動け。
Nothing but utter adoration for the mangaka and animators to create a scene such as this one, filled with nothing but pure heart, putting a stamp on a group of people who before now meant very little to me, and now I'm willing them to fight and survive, especially with Leo. That's insane.
いや、この温かい包み込むような炎のマナは。
よく戦ったな、レオ。
He is friggin' back! And they didn't just have him suddenly wake up at like episode 50 and focus on it a tiny bit. Instead, it was built up magnificently into this glorious moment right here, and as such, it gets the maximum 2 wins award for greatness. That is so awesome, bruh. Get out of here with that. Before you leave, grab another win on your way out the door for this pure awesomeness, and he's got a salamander somehow.
火力が強すぎてかき消せない。
And just as easily as that, my boy newly returned wins the battle, and I cannot wait to see where he will go next and what he will do. I don't think I've ever felt that from a character in an anime before, because I don't think an anime has ever kept a cool dude out of commission for so very long. This is all new to me. Even though it was relatively obvious what had occurred back then, once the rest of the puzzle pieces had been put into place, it's still good to actually see it going down and how he was caught off guard. How mad is it that all of these characters that we've met over time have now been taken over by other characters that we've met over the episodes? It's like double the amount of characters or something. My brain hurts. We've got a 2-for-1 on main boys being woken up. This is not a drill. I wasn't going to mention the ending because while it was funny, it didn't deserve its own standalone win until the very end, and then I had to drop one.
それがグレゴリオン・バービル。
私をネタにしてのこれ以上の暴挙は許さん。
悪いけどアンチ魔法の小僧はすぐ追わせてもらうよ。あのグリモワールと剣は本当のリヒト君のものだからね。
Oh, they just dropped a juicy egg of lore right there. Those swords and the grimoire belong to Licht. Hot damn, okay now.
カレデス・ブラキーム。
Loads of great looking magical attacks against my waifu and not yours as the tide begins to turn against her in spite of her incredible levels of power as the enemy works together.
せめて私のこの炎で殺してやろう。
なんだこの感覚は。体がこのものを知って恐れ。
This is kind of what I was hoping for all along, that some sense of who they were before lay dormant inside their new bodies. I also got this feeling when the painting lad kept doing his normal laugh like he always does.
人間を殺すんだろう。私はまだ生きているぞ。
I can't take much more of this, bruh. I legit thought that out of the blue, she got taken out. I can't show it either, as they didn't hold back much, but man, my jaw was on the floor, and then she did this, and I picked it back up, and I just want her safe now.
全開。
まだこれほどの。
このヒリヒリする感じ、一体。カレデス・ブラキウム、煉獄。
No word of a lie, she might legit be the strongest one of all. Perhaps right up there with Yami, who took on Licht very well, but then he wasn't powered up back then, and all 5 of them are. She's utterly incredible. Yet another art style change. My man Asta always knows how to make an epic entrance, and if I had to wager, I'd say they cooked up a plan out there rather than recklessly rushing back in. But let's go! That is stupidly awesome! And Asta only went and actually rescued her as well. So brilliant, love him! Unexpected plot twist yet again, my brain trembles! That feels like a Terminator 2 reference!
植物回復魔法ひね湯の花衣
I'm not gonna lie, it's hard seeing this girl trying to get away while healing herself and defending herself but failing. Asta's amazing reaction to seeing his oldest friend and rival Yuno in this state.
しかもおかしくなったのはあいつだけじゃねえ。他の魔法騎士たちもだ。
I'm gonna say it one more time, huge fan of how they're laying out this arc, bouncing between heroes. It seriously keeps things so nice and fresh.
死にかけてたんですよね、俺。
そうとも言うな。
そうとしか言わないですよ。
心配したぜ。
ああ、心がこもってない。
Ooh, Vanessa in the anime is always a win.
やめてくれ、クローズ。同じ魔法騎士団の仲間だろ。
この肉体が反応している。
Ah, more signs that they're still in there.
何言ってる。アスタ。魔法帝になるのは俺だ。
You knew it was coming, I knew it was coming, but I'm still excited as hell, especially when I factored in that Yuno is so strong of mind that he was able to not even be fully taken over in the first place, remaining stoic until he regained full control like an absolute boss right there.
そうなの？ってことは助けられるのか？
ありがとうございます、アスタさん。
Aw, she still likes him, that's totes and dobs, but now back to the action.
お前らが出ていけ。
Man oh man, they're really not messing around with the animation, throwing in extra frames left, right and centre like it's no big deal at all. It looks so smooth.
誰がお前一人にやらせるか。ユノこの野郎。
ユノは一人じゃないわよ。
Do you see what I mean? Also some great looking CGI in this episode as well. I'd be remiss to not mention that.
上等だ。
Haha, just like in the previous 3 parts of this series, we now extend that to a 4-part streak of insanely cool looking stances. In part 7 it's these boys, in part 6 it was Noel, part 5 was Asta in his dark form, and part 4 was Asta against Veto. I love it!
お前には負けない。
Really unexpected voice acting prowess right there from the usually quiet and reserved Yuno, plus some gorgeous angles and animation quality.
アスタ、気をつけろよ。ああ、分かってな。
Oh dear! Oh my god, things got so intense all of a sudden! This battle looks so good right now, it's like Yami vs Licht on steroids for the smoothness factor of the animation, and they're really driving home the point to me that these lads are literally going 100% just to survive right now. It's crazy!
Then just as I say that, they go into attack mode suddenly, but lifted too fast, but it all looks so good and I can't help heaping the wins.
Asta and Yuno!
Ah, that was almost exactly done like Mob Psycho 100 Season 2 with the big fight near the end suddenly going first person on us. Ugh, they're really pulling out all the stops. Ugh!
Spirit Storm!
I cannot not give that its own win. On top of raising the animation quality, they've also taken CGI to a whole new level as well. It's stunning. For real though, it's no wonder so many of you are gushing over this part in the comments and community tab. I totally get it now, it's so good. Next level stuff to be honest, and apparently part 8 will be as good as well, so I cannot wait.
Spirit Storm! ここでアスタが限界を超えてくる。ユーノは俺のライバルだ。
For the end of this episode and that incredible battle, to which we still don't yet know the outcome, they can take a maximum 2 wins award. In fact, in all honesty, this is one of the closest times where I felt like I wish I could do 3 wins, but I gotta keep it fair across the board, and I will continue to do so. But my word, that level of animation and CGI, the music pumping up the whole event, the slow motion, the angles, and the one-shot sequences, and the voice acting, all culminated into one beautiful looking scene that lasted just over 3 minutes. Take my gratitude in the form of 2 wins as we venture tentatively into episode 101. Yuno and Asta making it out of that attack still in one piece is at least enough for now, but I cannot even begin to theorise how this arc will end. It's kind of crazy to think I'm only part of the way through it, in fact.
みんな久しぶりだね。500年ぶりかな。
Whoa, 500 years have passed? Okay, I got that wrong. So earlier on I deleted part of a win talking about their clothing, as I thought initially it was a long time ago that these elves were about, but then something came up making me doubt it, so I deleted it. But yeah, the win originally was for their ancient Greek looking clothing that they used to wear. I liked how their timeline runs somewhat similar to ours, with people now wearing normal looking clothing like us. I also linked that to my Roman Empire comments from part 5 as well. That's just like Noel's super casual baka from part 6. I cannot not win that.
肉体の自然治癒力を爆発的に高める魔道具だ。
Whoop! Finally getting another look at a magical item. I love those. I hope they one day play a bigger part because they're even more versatile than magic.
たとえ魔法騎士の同胞を殺すことになっても、そして殺されることになっても。
I feel like this too is some level of character growth, since originally he seemed to only care for royalty, but now via internal monologue he's willing to lay down his life to protect others. On top of this, again, like I mentioned before, I'm just loving so much how all of this is a world event, rather than just affecting a small area like the underwater dungeon arc or the Witcher's Forest arc, for example. I never, ever once saw this coming. An attack on Hage village, where they originally came from. It just never entered my mind that it might occur. In all honesty, I'm still shocked how they've kept prior characters in the anime in one form or another. That's really to be commended.
私と共に城を守りに行くぞ。
お兄様と共に、はい、共に参ります。
That's so damn good. He's finally acknowledged her and her abilities having come so far. I still think he's a douche, but it would be silly to suggest he himself hasn't moved forwards in several ways as well.
水創生魔法愛の聖剣好き
These 2.5 minutes of goodness showcasing the nun's abilities, which aren't half bad, and her very impassioned speech then leading to the young lad recalling Asta's words from way back in like episode 2 or 3 I believe, just showing that these characters received a lot of building back then and haven't been forgotten about since.
Sister! 手を出すな！ナッシュ、ダメ！ Asta, Yuno.
Such an entrance!
同じ日に教会の前に捨てられ、この村で育ち、あんなにたくましくなって、この村を救いに。
Oh, he really cares for them.
それからなんて書いてあるの？
それだけじゃの。
It's only like they went and created their own written language for this anime, the bunch of nutters! So basically, the vast majority of this episode serves as a bit of a clever recap, going over Asta and the many letters that he had sent, and what they at the church had been doing as they got them. It was a nice way of doing a recap, much like the last one where they read the Black Bull's reports in order to prepare for the coming battles, and like I mentioned, it was a good way of showing what they were kind of doing. So it feels less like they ceased to exist while they weren't featured in the episodes, if you know what I mean.
全部のおっちゃんしっかりしろ
アスタか。
Bless his kind heart, suppressing his pain in order to smile for the returned Asta upon hearing his voice. They really, really know how to tug at my old heartstrings, and they just shamelessly pull away at them when needed. Unexpected plot twist? How did the sword come back? I don't know! An unexpected OP change all of a sudden. However, very much not unwelcome from your boy, who enjoys all of them without exception. The name of the game this time around is very much art style changes and some incredible looking battles being teased with equally incredible looking angles and styles. Clearly something the animators worked tirelessly on yet again, basically. I have no idea how that was possibly achieved, but I'm not hating on it one bit. In fact, it's made me ever more excited for what his swords can do in the future.
その花の花言葉は内に秘めた優しさ。でもそれを知っている虫たちにとっては安息の地なんだ。僕らエルフと人間も同じだと思わないか？お互いをよく知らないから嫌ったり憎しみ合う。
They keep on effortlessly getting me with scenes like this, reminding us of the kindness that these elves used to possess for each other and for nature and even for humans. So gosh darn awesome, man. And even better is that Asta might be able to end up helping both the humans whose bodies were taken but also the elves, although that's no doubt a long ways off yet. How awesome is it as well that it looks to be Asta that will be sent the stage of this arc in terms of him having the one ability that can bring everyone back.
まだ少しふらつくがの。みんなもすっかり毒は消えたようじゃ。
No specific win here, other than that I suppose I'm glad everyone is okay, but I'm actually writing this because I was legit smiling. Like, I caught myself smiling while the scene was going. I love this anime now, and I wanted to share that with you all.
愛してます結構
水創生魔法愛の聖剣好き
そろそろあいつらも目覚める頃だし諦めな
Emergency foreshadowing!
しかもあいつと戦った上田のリストってのがとんでもなくちょっと
アスタちょっと何言ってるかわからない
I'm always heaping praise onto the Black Bulls when they take time to chill in between arcs in the past, and I totally forgot about the warm feeling which resides inside me when I see this family all together again. Just eating taters. It's quite lovely actually, I missed it. giving this guy a little bit of a backstory while tying it into the greater events that happened before, such as his leader's betrayal, and at the same time showing us what happens when they do return to normal.
でもこれだけははっきりわかります。僕の体に転生したエルフの魂はこんなことを望んではいなかった。
Oh, I'm so happy that they brought this up. I'll be honest, I was thinking all along that it was strange that all of the elves, most of whom were very peaceful before, wanted to destroy all of the humans. I found it odd that not even a single one was brought back, not wanting to do that, and now I find out that there's clearly more to it than I thought, and that's great. Lovely end to their visit there, absolutely lovely, especially when they tried using that music that always makes me emotional, but your boy held it together. Brilliant new ED that was, with some lovely colour palette alterations, kind of like it was painted or something, and then Asta's strange scream at the end, like he was tormented by his sword and whatever it is that's inside of it. That was really great though, especially the song, very nice.
マジや。
攻撃されている。
I was just waiting for a chance to see all of them end up getting involved in this arc, and I'm so glad that that's finally happening, especially with Vanessa. Them arriving on the scene and the animators actually choosing to do a long distance shot showing Luck attacking them both. Dedication!
仲間を守る魔法かな。
I was kind of hoping Luck managed to miss on purpose like he did against Noelle, but it's still absolutely awesome getting to see my waifu and not yours' new ability in play once again. You bang that time, girl! This entire scene showing how Magna has strived to improve himself after the last tournament arc, a great element to this great anime where everyone is always improving themselves and their magic. Equally as smooth looking as it was awesome, beautifully linking in with the previous win as well, as Magna shows that he has improved so much that he is able to actually win against a powered up elven Luck.
どうやったら人間の君たちが僕に勝てるのか。
Black Clover just be shamelessly throwing out some gorgeous looking magic armor, from Asta to Yuno and now with Luck. That just looks so cool!
思ったよりあっけなかったね。
Giving Vanessa a truly overpowered ability, but then also making it use up way more magic than other people's abilities, and thus smartly making it way more even overall.
悔しかったらとっとと目覚まして俺と戦いやれ。
Luck is fighting inside! He's fighting so hard!
黙ってられるわけ。やるか。
Asta is the king of epically timed epic entrances! That was totally unexpected!
魔力がなくて感知できないなら隠せばいいって。
You gotta love, on top of the naturally great animation of course, how they've also battled together so many times now that straight away, without even speaking, they knew to visually cover Asta with smoke as he came to attack him, knowing he would be invisible due to his lack of magic. Such great teamwork born out of so many battles together.
ここだ。
And then that's exactly what I was just talking about, but it's even better because it's such a simple but clever plan at the same time. I love it. Such a great end to the episode as everyone bands together to free Luck from his prison. An episode and battle just still filled with such high level animation. How they continue churning these out week after week to this standard is insane to me.
このままだとラックもエルフと別の存在。
That foreshadowing is perfect and adds a new mystery to the arc.
何のことかわかんねえけど、俺たち人間のせいならごめん。けど俺たちにとってラックがその大切な仲間なんだ。頼むから奪わないでくれ。それに お前の大切な人たちはお前がこんなになるのを望まないんじゃないか。
Meanwhile, Asta is still being so wholesome in his words, apologising for the past that had nothing to do with him, and even cares about the elf inside Luck, who is in so much pain, not wanting him to destroy himself when he still has friends and or family out there. It's a recurring theme like many others, but Asta's continued growth and strength of character is an ever-present boon in Black Clover. This entire scene gets one as Luck remembers those closest to him, the love he thought he could never get from anyone else, that he found in among this group of outcasts and misfits.
僕はみんなの黒の防御の仲間だよね。
That scene. Man, oh man. Wow. Damn, that got me bad.
住んでた人たち大丈夫かな。私がちゃんと助けたわよ。安心しなさい。
Glad they added this, that the people were safe. It's just a nice addition to not leave out something important like this, considering it's their main job and all.
マグナ君、
俺のこと知ってやがるのか。てめえ一体。ブツブツブツブツブツブツ。どれ何言ってんかわかんね
らー、魔力がなくなった。はい。じゃあこれだ。
This side of Charmy when it comes to some of her precious food being destroyed. It's also a good way to get them back into the game, just like when it happened during the underwater arc.
ヘンリー先輩も一緒に食べましょうよ。おいしい。実は黒の防御だったゾラってやつも一緒のはずです。何？あいつ防御の隊員なの？
Oh, Henry getting the chance to join everyone for a meal for the first time is so very sweet, I can almost taste it. This! Thanks so much for joining me in this 7th part, guys and gals. I very much hope that you enjoyed yourselves. I'm going to drop one final win here for what was so far my favourite arc, filled to the very brim with epic battles. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already so you don't miss out on Attack on Titan Season 4 Part 2, The Promised Neverland Season 2, Tensura Season 2, Dr. Stone Season 2 and much more coming soon. Thanks again for your support. Also consider joining my Patreon, link down below if you'd like to support myself and my channels. And of course I'll see you in Part 8 so long as we surpass 30,000 views as always. Nathan Byrne, Bird Without a Word, Aidan White, PK Fan, Ali50, Ryan Anderson, Israel Caldera, Chris Harris, Yona Shgal, Manolo Saucedo Munoz, Luis Hernandez, Kim Munt, Jason Davies, Yuki Ali, Manuel Morales, Dark Lord Bloody Soul, Blitzcloud, Keeper, Steelers, Kimi O, Sentimento, Jeffa6263, Master Tank, Kevin Nauta, Brendan Kriya, Storm970, Mr. Waffle 64, Kaj Vozelman, Jordan Samuels, Sean Graves, The Epic Commander, Crimson Shadows, Kyle Farmer, Buzzbomb 3000, Adora Blue.